Welcome. So once again, we have these three files here, and each of them has a column with some data values and a header called value. And I will now write a program that will access these three files, read their data in Python, and calculate three average values, one for each of the three columns. This can be probably done in different ways using different libraries, but one easy way to do this is to use the pandas library. So the pandas library is a data analysis library, and pandas is like an interface that creates a data frame object inside Python. This data frame object is like a structure that holds the data. So you can think of it as yet another Python data type. So as you work with other libraries, you will discover other complex data types. So first I'll go ahead and calculate the average value of the values inside the file 1.txt. First of all, I'll import the pandas library. And what we want to do first is generate a data frame object out of the first text file. So we will read the data of the first text file, and we will store those data in a data frame object. And we want to store the object in a variable. So remember, variables are like containers where we can store everything. And I'll call my variable df. Then I'll generate the data frame using the pandas read CSV method. So read CSV stands for read character separated values, and our text file is such a file. So it has that data structure. The file could also be a CSV file, .csv file, and things would work the same. So pandas.readCSV, and then we need to pass a parameter to the readCSV method. That parameter is the file path that we want to convert to a data frame. So we want to convert that file, and I'll pass my path here, which is C analysis, and the name of the file. And notice here that the path is a string data type, so Python recognizes strings objects. And when you pass the string to the readCSV method, the readCSV method parses the string, so it understands strings objects and locates the file in the computer through that given string. So let's hit enter here, and we have a data frame object generated. You can display the data frame if you want by just calling the variable that holds the data frame. So this is the data frame. So this is constructed of a header, which in this case is a value string. And the data frame also has an index column, which was assigned some default values, as you see here. And of course the data frame also has the values. So to calculate the mean value of all the data frame values, we just go ahead and apply the mean method to the data frame object. So df, the dot, and the method. And this is a mean value. So that was quite easy. Now we can calculate the average values of the other files the same way. So we can repeat the same actions. But here we have three files only, and we can do that. But imagine if we had lots and lots of files. And in such case, we would need to use a for loop. That's exactly what I'll do now. But in order to iterate through all the file paths, I first need to have a list of file path strings. And a smart way to get a list is to use a glob2 library. So first you should go ahead and install the library in your command line using pip install glob2. Good. Once the library has been installed, you don't have to restart anything, just go ahead and import the library in your console. And then you want to use a method of the library that generates a list of file paths, and that method is called glob. And I want to store the list of the file path strings inside a variable, of course. So let's say file list equals glob2.glob, so the glob method of the glob2 library. And here we need to pass the folder path where the files are located. So that is C analysis. And here we can play around by using an asterisk and a .txt after that. That means we want all the files containing a .txt extension. And that's it. Execute and see what you got in the file list variable. So it's a list of all the txt file paths. Now we have a list of file paths, and we can iterate through that list and execute the same action for all the items of the list. Let's say for file in file list, and then we create a data frame object and call the readCSV method of the pandas library, and then pass the file path to that object. So that would be the file variable. Think of the file and the df variable as temporary variables, so they will have different values at each iteration. And next we can calculate the mean value of the current data frame of the iteration. And then we print out the value on the screen, and that's it. Execute, and we get 3 values here. So each of the values represents the average value for each text file. These values are actually a domestic pandas data type called series. So if you like to actually return a plain float Python data type, you could apply the float function to these numbers. So let's do just that. Let's modify our code and just press the upper arrow key to recall a previously executed statement. And what we want to do is add a line that converts the series data type to a float data type. We can use the float function for that. So as soon as the m variable is created, we will grab that variable and pass it to the float function, which will convert it to a float data type. That's it. Execute, and here we have the 3 mean values. So I hope this was fun and full of useful information for you. Please feel free to post a discussion if there is anything you need to talk about, and see you in the next lecture.